Hey guys, it's Theresa. So I'm doing my microcultural project, and I'm actually sitting in the rink, and this goes hand in hand with my microcultural group because I'm a part of the microcultural groups of figure skating. So athletes say that they will do whatever it takes to achieve their goals, and one of the sports that goes hand in hand with that is figure skating. And people who believe in this are a part of the figure skating microculture. So the definition of figure skating is the competitive sport of ice skating in prescribed patterns or figures and choreographed free skating. Skaters give up time, energy, money, sleep, and a social life, all for their goals. They'll do whatever it takes for their goals, as I said in the beginning. And when you're in deep with figure skating, it's very hard to have a life. Figure skaters are a part of this microculture group because we combine guts, determination, pain, and hard work, all to achieve the goal of figure skating. Not just pushing and gliding on the ice, but creating like a beautiful, graceful sport, moving yourself all around the ice that takes all of the body strength in you, and even when you fall, it takes all of the body strength to get back up. Overall, figure skating teaches you inner and outer strength, perseverance, sacrifice, and most importantly, accomplishment. So we should clearly establish this as a microculture because our beliefs and values are a lot different and we're a lot more driven than others. Our values are taken very seriously because if you don't have these values, you won't be able to succeed in this sport. So our beliefs and values are commitment, sacrifice, and fitness. So, figure skaters are microculture because we think differently. As soon as we get up, our goals for the day are different than anyone else our age. Most people wake up and either go to 9 to 5 jobs or they go to school, and figure skaters wake up, check to make sure that the ice time at the rink hasn't changed for the day, and they go on and skate all day. We're aware of everything that we do with our body and everything that we put inside of it for new nutrients. And everything we do is dedicated and steered toward bettering our skating. Our values as a microculture are completely different than the United States. So we value commitment because we set time every week for an average of about 13 hours a week and make appointments with coaches and personal trainers with ice time lessons starting at 6, meaning you need to wake up at about 5 a.m. We are committed because we dedicate these specific early hours every week that you can't skip or you'll lose your jumps. And when you're canceling with figure skating coaches, it never goes well because they make about $100 an hour, so they'll be really pissed at you. So they need you to be committed, and you need them to be committed, so you're both at the rink at 6 a.m. We value sacrifice because we sacrifice all the things that normal people take for granted. Things like family and friends, things like being busy on Friday and Saturday nights. You have to sacrifice both of those things for your goal of skating. Because guess what? Next morning is a bright and early freestyle session that if you go out late, you are not going to be fully energized for. We sacrifice things such as family. The yearly cost of competitive figure skating sometimes costs as much as a college yearly tuition. This cost in sport has ripple effects on the entire family and the amount of money left over for the rest of the family. Until the age of the skater can drive, the parents have to take turns driving, and in return the elder siblings are left a little bit less attention from the parents. The biggest ripple effect is the cost. Figure skating can definitely tighten the budget around the family because the constant everyday costs are unavoidable. And lastly, figure skaters value fitness because not only are we dedicated to working out constantly for 13 hours at least on the ice, there is also off-ice training and dedication to the gym, off-ice and spins on the off-ice spinners, and then doing fitness classes such as ballet and yoga. The characteristics of the people that belong to the figure skating microculture is cocky, outgoing, fearless, and obedient. A skater is cocky because in the cutthroat world of figure skating, you must stand tall and be confident to prove you can win and not let anyone in the skating world walk all over you because it is a very cutthroat, high intensity, very high uncertainty avoidance type of environment. And you have to be cocky so you don't let anyone walk all over you. Figure skaters are also outgoing as one of our characteristics because you must present yourself to the crowd and the judges during performances. You have to be outgoing and not let them see how nervous you are. You have to be outgoing and try new things all the time and talk to new people and do interviews. And in addition, figure skaters are also fearless because they are doing death-defying jumps and spins, and they're never letting a new challenge back them down from their coach or the skating world. They're fearless and they try anything and everything. And lastly, a characteristic of figure skaters are obedient because they are determined to make a set goal, and they always have that goal in mind, and they make sure they stick to it and achieve it. Their dedication and love for the sport is what makes them obedient to the sport and puts it first. These characteristics are completely different than any average U.S. citizen because we completely have different values and goals throughout our entire day that set us apart. So some behaviors and patterns of communication that are different than the dominant culture is because everything, like I said before, is cutthroat and dire. Everyone in this sport is individualistic, and if their goal isn't being met, they have very harsh responses and tones with others. Because this culture is everyone for themselves, each coach, parent, and skater is only concerned with themselves. Skating moms that are friends can have the same coach for their child, but still will use harsh tones to get the prime ice slot of the same coach's schedule. Figure skaters communicate verbally with people at the rink with worry and attitude, getting very close and loud, needing the ice to be cut on the time. They will talk very loud to the workers at the rink, and they will get absolutely mad if they don't get their full practice time if the ice is cut late. The figure skating coaches communicate verbally with their students very loud and also use on the ice nonverbal cues such as pointing or touching or guiding to show their students different skating patterns and moves. But the communication between different students is very catty and for the most part nonverbal. They talk in groups on the ice, watching and whispering, again trying to bring everybody else down because it's a very cutthroat environment. It's very indirect because there's no talking on the ice, and off the ice the students will continue to have nonverbal communication and verbal communication about each other. But on the other hand, if you have communication with your own skating partner, it's very verbal because leading up to the performances, you're perfecting every single flaw and you're making sure that you and your partner can ensure that you have a good win. And during the performance, you have a lot of nonverbal cues such as looking into each other's eyes, little signals to make sure you're doing the right move. And the communication between figure skating parents is very different. They are very loud and overprotective, they use foul language, and they demand that their child gets taken care of. So the prevalence of this microculture in the United States and around the world is that there are skating rinks in every single state of the United States, and people from all over the world in hot and cold weather continue to skate. The prevalence of figure skating is kept alive and governed with a few associations that regulate and facilitate all the rules and standards in figure skating. The ones specifically for the U.S. are the USFSA, the United States Figure Skating Association, the ISA, which is the Ice Skating Institute. So the ISI helps the rink owners and managers for their figure skating programs, while the USFSA provides the rules and new level updates. Internationally, though, figure skating is run by the ISU, which is the International Skating Union, and they have all similar rules and standards for skating as well. They are in charge of the World Figure Skating Championships. And lastly, the PSA, the Professional Skaters Association, is like a certification to show your credibility and status in this microculture. And in the United States, figure skating clubs and organizations are included in a number of colleges, 67 to be exact, all across the United States. And whether the rink is on campus or off campus or within a short drive, these schools have special funding to keep the sport in competition, these 67 schools, all while these skaters are getting a degree and an education. So some interesting and relevant facts about this microculture is that it is believed that ice skating has existed for more than 3,000 years when people in southern Finland sharpened and flattened like bone of animals to the bottom of their feet. And this form of skating was more like gliding, and it wasn't until skating got more developed when an iron blade with sharpened edges was used, which is, we use a more modern version today of that. And the Dutch created ice skates with ironed, sharpened-edged blades in the BCEC era. And in the 1600s, ice skating was introduced in England. And in the 1700s, the first organized skating club was formed called the Edinburgh Skating Club. And this sport is also great at recognizing both gender accomplishments equally. And in 1896, the first men's World Figure Skating Championships were held in Russia, and following many years later, in 1906, the first women's World Figure Skating Championships were held in Switzerland. So in conclusion, figure skaters are a microculture in the U.S. because we are different. Our entire mindset and our goals and our values are different than others in the United States. We wake up and immediately our day is different than any other person, regular person that's not part of the figure skating microculture. And we are a microculture because we have different values and behaviors than the U.S. culture. And what sets us apart is our desire and our want and our need to skate. And because of this, we have different behaviors and actions that create our microculture of figure skating. Thank you.